So why do so many Midwest ski areas close with all this snow on the ground? Well, today I'm going to help you understand why. So let's jump right into it. What's going on, Midwest skiers and riders? Matthew Zabransky with MidwestSkiers.com, and today's video is one that I've been wanting to do for some time now. Without fail, every spring, die-hard skiers and snowboarders flock to social media to voice their confusion and frustration on why their local hill is closing, yet they have a bunch of snow covering most of their hill. Now, we're not going to cover every reason in this video, but we will touch on some of the major factors that ski areas consider when making their judgment call on closing dates. Sometimes it's a combination of all of these factors, and sometimes it's just one. But any way that you cut it, ski areas generally have solid reasoning for their closing dates. But let's start off with the most common and obvious element at play here: the dramatic drop in skier and rider numbers. Most ski areas rely on two types of clientele: their season pass holders and their day ticketers. Pass holders are great for covering a good portion of the ski area's overhead because the ski area is able to get that capital early in the season up front. However, a good portion of the profit is produced by the families that rent gear, take lessons, have lunch in the chalet. You get the point. Those day ticketers are the real drivers of profit in the industry, and unfortunately those visitors dramatically drop starting in March, along with a good portion of season pass holders as well. And when speaking with Rick Schmitz, the owner of Nordic Mountain, Little Switzerland, and The Rock, a mid-March Saturday versus a peak Saturday brings in only about 25% of the season pass visitors, and the day ticket sales are even worse, ranging anywhere from 10 to 25% of peak weekend sales. And given that most of Rick's ski areas are located near large populations, these numbers are even worse the further you get from a metro. Rick went on to explain that a general rule of thumb that we use, that was passed on to me from Jim Ingle, is that for every March weekend we are open, if the weather is consistent, which we all know it isn't, business is roughly cut in half each weekend. That being said, it is common for ski areas to take losses the last few weekends that they are open. And as a business owner, watching profits for the season decrease every additional day that you are open is extremely difficult to swallow. But ski areas do it because they understand that it's important to pass holders to ski as late as possible. And it's finding that balance between appeasing the pass holders while still running a profitable business. And you might be thinking to yourself, why the dramatic drop in numbers? Well, there are several potential reasons, but it seems to boil down to that most people, other than die-hard skiers and snowboarders, are ready for springtime activities. Even diehards are often beginning to check out and usually take trips out west, and upon returning, will store their skis or snowboards away for the season. Golf and skiing have always been closely related sports, and with many Midwest golf courses opening in mid to late March, this is often another element at play that moves skiers and snowboarders onto the next sport in the cycle. Think of it this way: most people are ready for the next new activity, just like how most of us are done with our summer activities and itching to switch to skiing in the fall. The second element at play, which goes hand in hand with the decrease in skier numbers, is the increase or fixed operations costs. Most skiers and snowboarders love warm spring days, which is one of the reasons they want them to stay open as long as possible. And heck, I can't blame anybody. I love corn snow and sun basking après as much as anybody. But for ski area operators, it can be a nightmare. The warmer temps mean that the snow moves downhill more frequently, and groomers will spend more time fixing and cleaning up the hill. Unfortunately, this increase in machine time also means more wear and tear on the equipment, as well as additional fuel, none of which is offset by added income due to the decreasing numbers of skiers and snowboarders. Rick said it is not uncommon for groomers to take double the amount of time to fix up a hill in the spring due to the intense freeze-thaw cycles that we see in the Midwest, and those expenses add up quickly. Additionally, since chairlifts have a fixed operating cost no matter how many people are loaded onto them, it's hard to offset the continued cost of labor, electricity, depreciation, and maintenance by running a lift with such decreased traffic. And while on the subject of operations, let's talk about our third element at play here: Off-season improvements. Recently, off-season improvements have become a significant factor when considering staying open late into the spring. With the labor market continuing to be a challenge and suppliers taking longer than usual to deliver goods, ski areas need to build in additional time to ensure that they can finish projects before the start of next season. Although some areas can close off these sections to work on these projects while they continue to spin lifts, moving critical operational staff to these improvement projects only adds to the already challenging spring staffing market, which, speaking of, element number 4, staffing. Staffing is a major issue when it comes to Midwest spring operations. Just finding minimal staff to operate in the springtime can be a nightmare for many ski areas. The ski industry is a full-out sprint from October until March, so adding more hours for seasonal employees who typically start to transition into their summer and spring positions is extremely hard. In addition, your die-hard skier and snowboard employees want to take trips out west, so they often check out around the 2nd or 3rd week of March, leaving just a handful of staff members left working at many of the ski areas. And with the labor market already being a massive challenge for ski areas across the nation, this makes staffing in late spring an extremely challenging task. But there is still one more element at play here, and that's insurance. If ski areas are somehow able to navigate those challenges, they still have the insurance element at play, which of course is going to vary a little bit case by case and state by state. But the reality is, anytime that your ski area is open, you run the risk of an injury or lawsuit that could jeopardize your entire operation. Unfortunately, it is all too common for ski area insurance companies to regularly be fighting cases that are a few $1,000,000. On top of this, spring is a common time of year for injuries, given the always changing snow conditions, end of year festivities, and let's just say, high thirst levels. Again, why risk any of that when your overall ski population is so low in the middle and end of March? Despite all of the bad news surrounding Midwest ski areas staying open later into the season, there is undoubtedly some good news as well. In the past few years, the industry has seen great participation numbers that have started leaking into the March calendar timeframe. In fact, Rick Schmidt stated, "While the first weekend in March used to see a consistent decrease from peak weekends, it is now considered part of our peak season based on visitation. We have definitely seen an uptick in late season demand, and a lot of this is driven by increased season pass numbers, spring events, and a general realization by skiers that spring skiing is awesome. If demand continues to rise, we will continue to push our seasons longer." And this is an excellent sign that we may begin to see ski areas extend their seasons. In fact, we have seen a lot of this season already, with countless ski areas offering bonus weekends of skiing and snowboarding. All said and done, I would love to ski until May in the Midwest, but the economics and risk-reward element is just not there for the majority of ski areas in the Midwest. I agree with the naysayers that the Midwest does have a culture of closing early, but there are numbers and data to support that culture. But that said, the past couple of seasons have been record-breaking in attendance numbers, so if skiers and snowboarders continue to show up and support their local hills by spending money, we may see this culture change in the years to come. If you are passionate about late season skiing in the Midwest, vote with your dollars. Visit and buy tickets to areas that stay open later, and if you're a pass holder, consider buying a beer or a burger the last few weeks of the season instead of brown bagging it in the parking lot. If you can't financially support these ski areas, use social media to draw attention to them. Share their posts and our posts about hills that are still open to help diehards find somewhere to make turns late into the season. These are the type of actions that could help decision makers consider extending seasons in the future. But there you guys have it, some background on why ski areas tend to close a little bit earlier than we would all like them to. But until next time, I hope all of you have a great week, pray for snow, and I'll see you guys out there.